Barnaby Jones, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, with guest stars Robert Foxworth, Lorraine Stevens, Richard Evans. Special guest star Tyne Daly. Tonight's episode, A Gathering of Thieves.
If there was one born every minute, I could make myself $1 million an hour. Flower calls the bee makes the honey, Irene just smiles, and we all make money.
Now, don't tell me I'm going to be running away with a poet.
Well, I'm full of all kinds of surprises. All of them guaranteed to delight and amaze you. How did we do today?
We did 14 cash sales and 5 earnest money checks.
Okay.
How much longer, Whit?
I think you can stretch your patience another 3 weeks.
It's just that every week goes by, I get more nervous.
Hey, now, you can't play a cool hand when you're nervous, baby. Steady. Keep smiling. Building our pot here. We're not going to be greedy. I figure we can be real happy on $500,000.
I've never heard of that much money.
Well, you stick with Whit Brewer, my little wildflower. He picks up money like a magnet. Say, take care of paying the caterers, will you, honey? I got to get into town and take care of our silent partner. Keep her happy and silent.
Do you have to take Madge to dinner every night?
No. That's the small town Irene Hopkins talking. You think French Riviera, baby. Okay? Bye-bye.
Mr. Brewer?
Ah, Mr. Meacham, right?
Well, at least you got that straight.
Don't tell me you missed the bus. Well, listen, we'll be glad to drive you into Bryan Pass. You can catch a bus there.
No, I didn't miss the bus. I think I missed the boat.
I don't follow you.
Maybe you better follow me. Right now, shall we?
Sure enough. Customer's always right.
Now, if the customer is always right, as you say, maybe you can tell me why the lot I bought 8 weeks ago, numbered 42L16, is now numbered 32F09. Now, when I bought it, it was lakefront on a hillside, right here. Now it seems to be way back in the boondocks somewhere.
You have your sales contract, Mr. Meacham?
Right here. And it's very clear. Seems to me you've been serving something fishy around here in between courses of barbecued beef.
No such a thing. If there's anything we don't want at Shadow Lake, Mr. Meacham, it's one ripple of unhappiness. Now, I'll tell you what. If there has been a mistake, we'll trade you 2 lots over here on the other side of the lake for the one you bought by mistake.
That sounds an awful lot like a bribe to me, Mr. Brewer.
Mr. Meacham, I'm really hurt that you'd think that of me. It's more than generous.
Too generous and too pat. Just so I don't hurt your feelings any further, I'm going to turn this whole matter over to the state real estate commissioner.
Now, wait just a minute. I'm sure we can take care of this whole thing.
I think you've been swindling people by the busload. And before I'm finished with you, you're going to wish you were on the one that just left.
Oh, Mr. Meacham. Mr. Meacham, now you're just all riled up over some very simple mistake. Now,
Look, simple mistakes I would give you away, Brewer. Look, that machinery hasn't moved an inch in the last 8 weeks. It's window dressing. Now, you have no intention of building a lake here, and I'm going to prove it. Shadow Lake is just another shady operation, so save your smooth talk for later on. See if it can't help you slip out from behind bars.
Youngsters and puppy dogs. At this age, they all seem like they're made out of rubber bands.
All right, fine. That'll be all girls. Be sure to see Mrs. Porter before you leave. Unfortunately, Mr. Jones, neither my father nor his car were made out of rubber bands. Will you look into this for me?
I made a call to Deputy Jeremy Carter at Bryan Pass after I talked to you. He was very sympathetic, but he said that the accident occurred exactly the way he told you.
I'm not interested in the sympathy of some small-town deputy. I want to know the truth about how my father died.
Well, Miss Meacham, or is it Ms. Meacham?
Miss. At this age, I have no intention of confusing any bachelors.
Well, in order that I don't stay confused, I have to ask you the mandatory and delicate question.
My father did not drive off any cliff in a drunken stupor, Mr. Jones. About the strongest thing he'd ever drink would be a glass of sherry at Christmas or a class reunion. But a fifth of scotch in his house would last for 4 years.
Well, that doesn't sound like a sipper, much less a drinker. But the deputy did say that that is a dangerous stretch of mountain road.
Well, then I'm sure my father was aware of it, Mr. Jones. He was an old-school college professor. His life was like a textbook on caution and self-control. And he drove the same way. He thought Los Angeles to San Francisco was a 3-day trip. This is the most recent picture of him that I have.
You say he'd been up to Bryan Pass several times in the last few weeks?
He'd bought some property near there. Shadow Lake, I think he called it. He was having sketches made of the cabin he was planning on retiring in. He was bubbling like a kid planning his first treehouse.
I think I would have liked your father.
Will you help me?
If the truth will help you, I'll try to find it.
I'm no expert, Mr. Jones, but I've had to haul enough drinking drivers out of Bryan Pass, dead and alive, to know that road is no place for bottle babies.
Mr. Meacham's daughter said he wasn't a drinker.
I know. I talked to her. You know, I'm sure that girl thinks I'm some kind of backwoods boy who got my badge by sending in box tops.
You appear to me to be wearing it very well. Still, she sounded pretty convincing.
Well, they say it's an age when fathers don't know what their daughters are doing, and vice versa, Mr. Jones. I tell you, the booze flows pretty free out of those weekend Shadow Lake barbecues. I found a near-empty bottle of scotch in the car. Now, I didn't have the heart to tell his daughter, but Meacham reeked of it.
Shadow Lake, that's where Mr. Meacham bought some property.
Yeah, it's the best thing to happen to Bryan Pass in about 50 years.
You wouldn't be able to show me where Mr. Meacham's property was?
No, I can't, but Madge Winston should over at the bank. Hey, there she is. Madge? Hold on there, Madge. We were just talking about you. This is Madge Winston, all A's in Bryan Pass High.
Some things a person just can't live down.
And now vice president and escrow officer at Bryan Pass Bank. You don't get jobs like that by winning letters in basketball.
How do you do?
This is Mr. Jones, Barnaby Jones from Los Angeles, Madge. He's a private investigator.
That's the kind of a job you get when you can't get all A's or a letter in basketball.
Mr. Jones is here to investigate the Meacham accident.
Oh, dreadful thing. Dreadful. When Shadow Lake is completed, the county's going to have to widen that road.
Well, I'm going to take a look at it as is soon as I get a bite of lunch.
Say, Madge, you ought to know what lot Mr. Meacham bought. The bank is handling the escrows.
Well, I could look it up. Why?
Well, it probably belongs to Mr. Meacham's daughter now, who's a client of mine, and while I'm up here, I thought I'd take a look at her property.
It'd take a little while, and I'm already late for another appointment. Maybe if you could come back.
Well, I'll be around a while.
If you'll excuse me, Jeremy?
That's a bright gal. How come the plain ones get all the brains?
Now, doesn't that sound a little bit like a country boy generalization?
Yeah, I guess so. But you know, there's always an exception that proves a rule. Like Irene Hopkins.
No, you go on ahead. I'll sit on the place this afternoon. Nothing but a few window shoppers anyway. Real gold comes on the buses. Free ride, free meal. Pick 'em off at the picnic.
Oh, here comes Miss Lonely Hearts. Can't leave you alone, can she?
Now, you gotta take the bitter with the sweet. You think I enjoy having dinner with her every night?
I don't know, do you?
Now, cool it. Our ship's coming in. Now, don't rock the boat. Okay.
Well, I didn't know banker's hours included a romance break in the middle of the day.
Isn't your eye makeup a little heavy, Irene? Or is that why they call this Shadow Lake?
Come on, baby. Don't taunt the goose. It's gonna lay our golden egg. You ruffle her feathers.
I suppose that's what she does all day, sit around here preening her feathers for you. I don't like her. She had every boy in school doing a dance.
Well, this is no schoolboy you're talking to, you know.
I hope not. I'm risking an awful lot for you, Whit. I don't want your head turned by some cheap flirt like Irene.
Irene's flirtations are money in the bank. She's the best deal closer I've ever seen. Come on now, you're not gonna be upset by Irene, are you?
Whit, there's a private investigator in town.
Well, send him on out. We're not particular. As long as they put their money on the table.
He's looking into that accident. What's his name?
Meacham?
Yeah.
Well, it's all signed, sealed, and filed away. What's there to look into?
I don't know. But he wants to take a look at Mr. Meacham's lot, and it's one of the ones I changed.
Well, you changed it back to a lakefront like I told you, didn't you?
Yes, of course I did. But honestly, Whit, you've had me juggling papers and holding on to that escrow money week after week. I'm getting worried.
Now, you relax. By the time anybody starts checking, we're gonna be sitting on the fantail of our yacht sipping one of those seductive island concoctions.
Oh, here. These are for your signature. I'll pick them up tonight at dinner. Not a bad weekend, I'd say.
Very nice. 4-hour retirement. The most active retirement you ever heard tell.
Whit, you are terrible. I love you now, but, I gotta get back and you're gonna mess me all up.
See you at dinner.
I painted it, Mr. Brewer.
Yeah, so I see. Keeping things shipshape, eh, Kurtz?
I thought it would be better in case anybody got nosy.
I don't follow you.
I didn't have to follow you, Mr. Brewer. When I heard you and that Mr. Meacham having words and saw you go after him in that pickup, that liquor bottle, I didn't have to follow you to know what happened.
I see here, Kurtz, a lively imagination like that could get you into a lot of trouble.
You need to worry 1 minute about it, Mr. Brewer. I mean, you promised me I'd be a big man around here when Shadow Lake was finished. Manager, you called it, right?
What are you getting at?
Well, I keep seeing all this money pour in every weekend, and I figure maybe you could pour a little bit of it my way. What do you call it, Mr. Brewer? A few thousand in earnest money?
And Charles Ellison is laying out an 18-hole championship course. The first tee will be right about over here. And we've got stables over on the other side of the lake. We'll have about 13 miles of bridle trails to these hills here.
Smell that air. Not a hydrocarbon in a carload.
It is Shangri-La, Mr. Jones. We just call it Shadow Lake so people can spell it easier.
You paint well, Mr. Brewer.
What?
You're a real artist. The way you paint it, I can almost see it. But I don't think even with a divining rod, you're going to find a lake out there.
Well, Turton Creek flows through these hills year-round. And we've got 4 high-capacity artesian wells on the property. It's simple engineering. And we're going to have a clear water lake like you never wet a line in, Mr. Jones.
Seems like a dream. Too bad Mr. Meacham didn't live long enough to see it come true.
Yeah, tragedy. Makes me sick every time I think about it.
Did you know Mr. Meacham drove his own car up here?
No, not until I heard about what happened. Shame.
Did you see him when he left? Notice what kind of shape he was in?
No, I didn't. He might have had one too many. We always keep the hospitality bar open all day, and sometimes people begin to feel their oats, you know what I mean?
Mr. Meacham drove up here several times in the last few weeks. Must have been quite an attraction for him, even the way it is.
Well, I think Irene Hopkins was part of the scenery he was interested in.
Oh, who is she?
She's a local girl, a sales girl I hired. Very attractive. A lot of men Mr. Meacham's age take a shine to her. You know, harmless little fantasies. I think Meacham's was a little more serious.
You don't say. Is she around? I'd like to talk to her.
No, she's gone into town on business.
That's where I ought to be. Maybe I'll run into her. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Brewer.
Anytime. Come back on pleasanter business sometime, Mr. Jones.
Oh, maybe you could point out Mr. Meacham's lot.
Oh, yeah. Right here. 42L16. Yeah, here it is. Lakefront, nice level lot, near the side of the lake, convenient to everything.
Well, thanks again, Mr. Brewer.
Anytime.
Well, I may run into you one of these days on the bridle path.
I hope so.
Well, you're slipping. I didn't see you get him to sign anything.
He's a private investigator from L.A.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing's the matter. He's been hired to check out that Meacham accident.
Oh, is that all?
I told him Meacham may have had one too many, in case he asks you.
Well, what'd you tell him that for?
And I told him that the reason Meacham came up here every weekend was because he had a crush on you.
Oh, thanks a lot. You think that's the best I can do?
The best way to keep nosy people from asking questions is to give them your own answers first. Right?
I don't understand.
Look, suppose the real reason Meacham was coming up here every week was because he'd begun to catch on to the little shell game we've been playing with those lakefront lots.
You think he was wise to us?
Well, I don't know. But for Jones' sake, I thought it made a lot more sense to say he came up here every week to look at you than at that dusty old lake out there.
Oh, Miss Winston.
Oh, Mr. Jones, how goes the investigation?
Well, I'm kind of a scattergun type of investigator. I let go of a charge of buckshot, and I wander around and see if I hit anything.
I hope you don't break any windows. Is there anything I can do?
Well, as a matter of fact, it might be. Have you seen Irene Hopkins in town this morning? I'd kind of like to talk to her.
Mr. Jones, the less I see of Irene Hopkins, the better I like it. I count it a lovely day if only I don't see her at all.
Oh? I understood she was very popular.
If you value that kind of popularity. Oh, by the way, I looked up the lot number of the Meacham property. 42L16, if you're interested. I believe it's a lakefront.
Yes, so I understand. Mr. Brewer showed me a map. Did Mr. Meacham pay for that property in full?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, he did. Why?
Well, I wondered whether his daughter had to assume any indebtedness in case she wanted to keep it.
No, it's free and clear once escrow closes.
Oh, escrow hasn't closed yet?
Well, we're attempting to close escrow on most of the properties at the same time. It's construction funding. It's rather complicated.
Yeah, never did understand the banking business. By the time I figured out 4%, everybody had stopped using it.
Oh, you were looking for Irene. There she is. Well, if you'll excuse me, I think I'll spare myself.
Miss Hopkins.
Yes?
I'm Barnaby Jones. Possibly Mr. Brewer spoke to me.
No, he didn't. Are you interested in some property?
Well, no. Right now I'm interested in you.
Well, thank you. That's very flattering.
Just professionally, I'm a private investigator looking into the car accident that took the life of Mr. Meacham. I understand you were well acquainted.
I was very fond of him. I think he felt the same way about me. But that doesn't really matter anymore, does it, Mr. Jones?
I'm sorry. I thought you might be able to help. Did you ever hear of him having a little too much to drink, maybe?
He used to kick up his heels a little bit up here. We had some fun. He said it made him feel as though he were alive. And it killed him. Look, I'm sorry. You'll have to excuse me.
$500. I guess you didn't quite get my message, Mr. Brewer. I said a few thousand.
Right you are, Brad. I figure 10,000 to sort of get you started. There'll be another 9,500 when the cash starts coming in again this weekend.
That's a stall.
Now, wait a minute. What are you talking about? There's big money involved here, partner. You think I can afford to play games with my future manager? I've got big things in mind for you.
All right. But 9,500 by next Monday, right?
I'll say it. All right? All right. Oh, hey, listen, people have been making remarks about that machinery sitting in the same place all the time. Why don't you move it further away from the office?
Oh, I'm finished for today. I'll do it tomorrow morning.
No, I got a bunch of callbacks coming in first thing. Look, come on, I'll help you. It'll only take a few minutes. You take the grader, I can't handle that one.
They collect them out here till they get a truckload, and then they haul them away, crush them up, melt them down, and make new cars. Start the whole process over again. That's it.
When they come in like this, it's hard to tell whether it was mechanical failure, driver error, or another car.
Well, I hate to sound hard-headed about it, Mr. Jones, but the one thing that's missing here is a strong smell of liquor. The bottle. It seemed pretty conclusive at the scene of the accident.
Did you do a blood alcohol on him?
Well, with an open bottle on the seat beside him?
Yeah, I know it sounds pretty bad, but somehow I just can't picture it. DMV didn't have a single violation against Meacham. Yet we're supposed to believe that he was tooling his car through dangerous mountain roads with one hand on the steering wheel and the other on an open bottle of liquor.
Well, you got a broken taillight there.
Yeah. Kind of plastic. The other one didn't break. You find pieces of this at the scene of the accident?
Well, they would have scattered over a 20-acre area the way this thing went off that cliff.
Yeah, I suppose so.
What do you got there?
Looks like a splinter of wood caught in the back bumper.
Well, there's a lot of brush and small trees out that way. Could have picked it up on the way down.
This came from a board, some kind of a piece of lumber. Got paint on it.
Hey, Mr. Jones!
What do you got?
Oh, I can't be sure. Might be pieces of Meacham's taillight.
By golly. I knew you had the makings of a bird dog, but you're also a very fine retriever. Wouldn't it be too hard to see if these fit on Meacham's car?
There's somebody you know there?
My secretary. She sees to it I never get too far from the paperwork. Hang on to these?
Yeah, you bet.
See you in town.
You doing your road work?
Yep. You do the homework I asked you to?
Yeah, here's a copy of the sales contract. Susan Meacham found it among her father's papers.
That's the lot, all right. 42L16 and the date.
And I thought you might want to take a look at this. This is a picture of what her father's place would look like at Shadow Lake. Sad, isn't it, Barnaby? Just when a man is about to see his dream of a lifetime come true.
Well, well, well.
Translation, well, what?
I wonder why Claude Meacham would hire an architect to do a beautiful sketch of a hillside house when the lot he bought is flat as a platter.
I really have no idea, Mr. Jones. Perhaps Mr. Meacham just changed his mind.
No, I don't think so. See the date here? This sketch was drawn up a month after he bought the lot, a week before he died.
Well, maybe Mr. Meacham was a little confused. I understand that he was enchanted with Irene Hopkins.
Oh, where'd you hear that?
I thought it was common knowledge.
His daughter didn't mention it. Deputy Carter didn't say anything about it.
Perhaps I shouldn't have said anything if everyone else is being so discreet. I really don't know what you're getting at, Mr. Jones.
Well, join me in the boat, Miss Winston. Neither do I. When all of a sudden a man who has hardly taken a drink all his life drives his car off a cliff in a drunken stupor, a man whose life has been a model of caution and self-discipline gets so carried away with a younger woman that he builds a hillside house for a flat lot.
I suppose stranger things have happened, don't you?
Undoubtedly. Only when one egg is broken, you blame the chicken. When they're all broken, you get the feeling that there has been a fox in the hen house. Thank you very much for your time, Miss Winston. I'm going to leave you now to your percentage points and fine print.
Shadow Lake, Brewer speaking. Hey, slow. I'm only listening with one ear, you know.
Darling, I am trying to tell you that this Jones is no fool. In his deliberate, plodding way, he's going to plod right into the middle of our whole little picnic.
Well, what makes you think so, Pat?
Well, he already suspects there's something fishy about the Meacham property. If he keeps on digging and asking questions, he's going to discover the whole fraud.
Huh? Wait a minute, that's a pretty ugly word for just juggling a few lot numbers, Madge.
Oh, what do you call it? And Jones is thinking of uglier words than that. He doesn't think that Meacham's accident was an accident.
Well, maybe it's all for the best.
If you can see a bright side in this wit, I wish you'd tell me.
You and me, love, that's the bright side. We're just gonna move our honeymoon up 3 weeks.
Now? But, darling...
Well, no sense in being greedy. There's gotta be over 400,000 in escrow. That should be enough for a happy married couple to get started on. Like this afternoon. We'll pick up your trousseau on the way.
Well, I don't know if I can be ready that soon.
The money's all there, isn't it? That was the plan. I'll pick you up at your house this afternoon.
What is it?
Could be evidence of a hit-and-run accident. Or it could be a murder weapon. Let's go see.
It looks like a surveyor's stake.
That's what it is. See that surveyor's little metal tag? Somebody's getting awfully careless.
What's that?
How come you started grading in the middle of the site?
All I know is Mr. Brewer called me early this morning and asked me to come out here and grade this area for him. I mean, for $8 an hour, I'd knock down battleships with that thing.
Gonna cost more than $8 an hour to replace these surveyor stakes.
Wasn't me, mister. I didn't do none of that grading. I just started widening here.
You drive that pickup?
No, that's the truck that Brad Kurtz uses.
Who painted the bumper?
Brad, I suppose. He does most of the maintenance work around here.
Where is Brad?
Mr. Brewer said that Brad just took off. Then he wanted me to finish this job. I mean, all I know is...
I know. For $8 an hour, you don't ask questions.
Right.
Oh, Mr. Jones. If I'd known you were interested in some property, I would have shown you around.
Well, I would have liked to look at the lot just north of this stake.
I don't understand.
Neither do I, because this is an official surveyor's stake and not supposed to be moved. Somebody bulldozed right over it.
Well, accidents do happen, I suppose.
Is Mr. Brewer around?
No, he went into the city to talk to the people who are designing the new golf course. He'll be here tomorrow.
So will I. And in the meantime, I'd appreciate it if no one moved that pickup truck. At least until after the sheriff has had a look at it.
Look at that. Acres of green, all planted with big round zeros. Beautiful, beautiful.
We better hurry. They're going to wonder when I don't get back this afternoon.
Wonder's not the word for it, baby. Okay, let's go.
Let's go. Wait, I've got to pack. That's half an hour. Now make yourself a
I
drink.
said let's go. You don't have to pack for where you're going. That's all right. You're going to drive.
Whit, please, Whit, listen to me. I'll leave Bryan Pass. I'll never come back. Nobody has to know.
And get in there.
No.
All right. Have it your way. 6 of one, half dozen the other. You ready to die?
I've always said it, Irene. You are not to be trusted.
Mr. Cool comes up here and thinks he can play us for fools.
City tricks for hick chicks.
We'll drive his car off into the bottom of Calder Lake.
Take a swipe over this way! Would this be Brad Kurtz?
Yeah, it's him, all right. Well, Mr. Brewer hears about this.
I got a pretty strong hunch that Mr. Brewer already knows all about this. You better call Deputy Carter.
That's why I came out here. He's been trying to reach you at the motel for over an hour. He wants you back in town right away.
What about?
Whit Brewer took off with $400,000 in escrow money.
Looks like Mr. Brewer's been a busy, busy man.
He's moving fast. How much start?
A couple hours. Put out an APB, but there's at least half a dozen small airports he could have taken off from. Say in a chartered plane from L.A.
How'd you hear about it?
Madge and Irene. Come on. This is Barnaby Jones from Los Angeles. He's a private investigator. You ladies both know Mr. Jones.
I think you both know Brad Kurtz, too.
What does Brad Kurtz have to do with anything?
Well, if he were alive and here, I think he could tell us some things.
Is Brad Kurtz dead?
We just unearthed his body from a hurry-up grave somebody dug for him out at Shadow Lake.
Good Lord.
You can add that to your damn foolishness,
Oh,
Madge.
shut up, Irene. Just shut up, will you?
All right, both of you cool down now. You want to tear each other's hair out later, that's fine. Right now, I want you to help us. You tell him, Mr. Jones.
Well, I think Brad Kurtz was killed because he knew too much about a so-called accident that happened to Mr. Meacham up on the Canyon Road.
You're saying murder? Oh, what kind of nonsense is that?
Of course, you wouldn't want to believe that Loverboy is guilty of anything.
I'm warning you, Madge.
I think Whit Brewer was running a little shell game with the lots out there at Shadow Lake.
What do you mean, shell game?
I think he was taking the choice ones and selling them over and over, and Meacham caught on to it and threatened to expose him.
But that's absurd. How could he do that?
He could do it. He tricked me.
Well, tricking you is like striking out the pitcher. You thought he had a crush on you. Huh?
Don't.
Madge. Madge, what time did he call you and ask for the money?
A little after 1. He'd been lying to me all the time.
Lying to you how?
Telling me he had to keep all that escrow money on hand. For developmental purposes, he said. He said that he couldn't make the right kind of deal with the construction firms if he couldn't move fast.
He's been moving fast, all right.
He said he had a chance for a deal on the lake and golf course contracts, and he asked me to bring the money.
Of all the dumb.
Well, I didn't know. I was so flustered.
And you just gave it to him?
Well, we'd already closed out escrow. I really didn't think very much about it. But when I gave him the money, I sensed that something was wrong. I got suspicious, and I tried to stop him. And then he threatened to kill me.
Dumb.
No, not so dumb. One murder usually leads to another, and then another. Carry on. I want to step out a minute.
All right, Madge. When he left you, what was the next thing you did?
Has Brewer really flown the coop?
That's the picture I got inside, but out here I got a slightly different picture. Take a look.
Well, the guy just walks in and you give him $400,000.
What do you mean, Barnaby?
When you think that two women who had just been bilked and buncoed by the same man would have a little sisterly compassion for each other, just a little. Here they are going at it hammer and tongue. Methinks the ladies do protest too much.
Well, at least you have a pretty good idea how Meacham was killed and why. If they ever find Brewer.
Betty, the coroner's on his way out to Shadow Lake. Why don't you take a run out there and see what he says? I'll stick around here and see if I can find Brewer between the lines of the statements coming from that office.
Well, we did it. We did it. Yeah.
You were beautiful.
Yes, I was.
Why, Mr. Brewer, a honeymoon, well, I declare, little old me.
You know, we were pretty good playing those boys back in high school. But that looks like chicken feed compared to this.
Cost for a drink, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Something, tall and smooth. You think Meacham wasn't drunk? You think Brewer killed him?
I hope so. The police will never stop looking for him. And when the search fades slowly into the west, Madge and Irene will slink quietly away in shame and in humiliation.
You better slink down that hill after dark and bury him.
Like for 1,000 years.
Oh, ice. Get some ice, huh? I'm so flustered.
Oh, and you do the best fluster I've ever seen.
All right, kittens. Let's have it. Over here. Madge, here. Togetherness. That's what I like to see.
Whit, listen to me. The police are looking for you.
You bet, baby. Everywhere but here. You took care of that all right.
You need a doctor. Let us get your doctor.
Don't make me laugh. It only hurts when I laugh. But I'm gonna get well real fast. As soon as I see that money. Now get it.
It's not here.
Bet it is. And as soon as I kill one of you, the other one's gonna tell me where it is, right?
All right, Whit, all right. It's outside. It's in the garage.
You'll never get away with it.
I've already gotten away with it. Isn't that what you already done for me when you talked to that hick sheriff? You know what you told him? Well, what you gonna tell him now? In fact, I might just decide to stay right here and rest up. And neither one of you can say one word. Move. Come on.
It's inside.
You get it. Don't you put your hands on anything but that money while you're in there, you hear me?
Hold it! I wouldn't do that. You've already tried to kill him once. Once is enough, isn't it, ladies? That's better. I have need of Mr. Brewer alive and well. He may be able to shed a little light on Shadow Lake. Turton Creek flows through these hills year-round. Together with the high-capacity artesian wells on the property, you're going to have a clear water lake like you never wet a line in.
Are you buying or selling?
Little of both.
I can see why Dad loved it. Who knows, maybe I'll go ahead with his cabin. He'd have liked that.
Yeah, I think he might have. Money's all back now and in good hands. As soon as they get the lot straightened out, who knows? Maybe Shadow Lake will finally become a reality.
Isn't it something? With a little bit of patience, Mr. Brewer might have become a wealthy man anyway.
Yeah, I'd say that. There's room here for an 18-hole golf course, and over there, far side of the lake, a stable and miles of bridle paths going up in those hills.
Barnaby.
How much did they say lots were selling for here?
You're kidding.
hurt, ma'am?
I told him he was going too fast.
Are you hurt?
He lost control.
You better put this on. Now, can you tell me your name?
Mrs. Bernice Kellner.
The driver your husband?
Yes.
Dead. Broken neck, it appears.
See if you can reach his coat, huh?
Yeah.
Woman's his wife. Name's Kellner.
I'll go talk to her.
Lloyd C. Kellner. That name's familiar.
Yeah. I think he's been in the papers recently. Would you take him back to my place? Sorry, Miss Kellner. My name is Friels, and I'm the county coroner and a mortician. And if you wish, I could take care of your husband until you make final arrangements.
Please. No. No, services won't be necessary. There are no next of kin beside myself. I'll offer prayers in my own way.
I understand.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've been in touch with the San Francisco Police Department. Lloyd Kellner's wanted there on a felony warrant for embezzlement.
That's not true. He never took a penny from the company.
Mrs. Kellner.
It was bad mismanagement.
Mrs. Kellner, please. I'm not accusing your husband. I have simply been asked by San Francisco for his fingerprints.
Even dead, they won't let him rest.
They need his prints to clear the warrant. It'll only take a moment, Mrs. Kellner.
Exactly what did Kellner do?
He was controller of some company that went bust until I got from Frisco. Are you handling the burial?
Yep. She wants him cremated.
Now I remember his picture. A lot of people lost money when that company went under. Thank you, Mrs. Kellner. Please accept my sympathy.
He's freezing. I told you that dry ice was overdoing it.
He's fine. Shaking off the effects of the depressant faster than I counted on.
He could have frozen to death.
You have the rest of the money with you?
Would you mind if we got some life into him first?
He's coming around. Congratulations, Mr. Kellner. You're officially a corpse.
We did it.
It'll take the federal attorneys months to put all the pieces together. But the total losses are certain to be upward of $60 million. Thanks, Betty.
How does a big investment house get away with this kind of manipulation?
Simple. Just declare long-term receivables as profits and investors rush to your door. But the recent market crunch proved it was a roller coaster ride for the stockholders.
What about that Richard Stamens himself, the company president?
Apparently, he took the same bath as the stockholders. He's in personal bankruptcy now. Bad business judgment would be the extent of his responsibility. But his controller, this Lloyd Kellner, well, that's a different matter.
With Kellner killed in the car accident, won't proving the embezzlement charge be difficult?
And really a moot point now. You see, the stockholders who have retained me as their counsel want some assurance that this Lloyd C. Kellner was not putting away a substantial nest egg during the past 6 months. Evidence points to the existence of a nest egg. Mr. Jones, we want you to find that nest egg.
Between 3 and 4 million, you tell me.
Based on the false entries already uncovered, we're in that neighborhood. We have a hunch it'll be in negotiable currency. Embezzlement of this kind following that pattern.
I suppose if your intention is to run, cash would be the easiest way to handle it.
Well, I'll leave those papers with you, and please, if there are any questions, call me.
Yes, I will, Mr. Moore.
Thanks for the coffee, Betty.
Oh, you're welcome.
And good luck, Mr. Jones.
What I'm going to miss most is that mustache.
How did Stamens sound? Like it's a stall?
I'm not sure. Loose ends to settle, whatever that means. How do the contacts feel?
Getting used to them. Why didn't you nail him? Exactly when he'd have that money ready.
Well, I couldn't say too much over the phone. Said I'd be over there later for a chat. There. Let's see. Wow. 10 years younger. I'm jealous. And such lovely green eyes. Hey, cool. Isn't that the way the kids put it these days? As a married woman, I'm tempted to make a play myself. I'm going to watch you like a hawk when we get to Acapulco. Why can't a woman shed 10 years so easily?
That's because you shed them 10 years ago.
Ouch.
Those loose end Stamens needs to settle. Get over there and let him know he's got a deadline to produce that cash. Don't be afraid to tell him. He's not going to play any games with us.
I don't see how he can afford to double-cross us.
For $1 million in cash, anybody will double-cross anybody.
Present company accepted, I hope.
He just might wind up insuring you for $1 million.
Friels? Yes? What can I do for you?
I'm Barnaby Jones, private investigator. Hope I'm not interfering with your work.
Oh, no. Oh, of course not, Mr. Jones.
Mighty pretty country you got around here. Guess you've had some excitement with the Lloyd Kellner death.
Well, Mr. Jones, I already talked to some officials down from San Francisco.
Yes, I read those reports. I'll only take a minute of your time.
All right.
Did it go well?
Fine. Richard.
How's Lloyd's appearance? Could he get by a casual meeting with, say, an old friend?
You siphoned $4 million from the company. Lloyd spending a half-year working on those books so he alone could take the blame, leaving you free to claim you were as much a victim as the stockholders. Our share of 25%, or $1 million, was firmly agreed to. Are you getting greedy?
Don't ever change, Bernice. Always direct and to the point. Remember the first day I hired you as my secretary?
Richard.
All right. We'll talk about money. It'll take 48 hours to have a transfer down here. Now, let's talk about a little flaw in our otherwise perfectly well-made plans.
Flaw?
Something I don't want you to mention to Lloyd. He's been declared dead, and the search for him is stopped. Have you thought about what would happen if his little masquerade were uncovered?
Well, we'll be in Mexico. His appearance has entirely changed.
Yeah, but there's no guarantee that he might not someday be recognized. Now, you think about that, Bernice. Every time you walk the streets with him, go into any public place, you'll never be quite sure when it could happen.
We intended living almost as recluses for a year or two.
All right. Let's set that aside for a minute. Did you know that I was completely destroyed when I found out that you had eloped with Lloyd? All I could think of was I had lost you.
I didn't know. I'm touched. I'm flattered.
I've often wondered if some feeling for me lingered on after your marriage. Are you afraid to answer that, Bernice?
Well, I am married now, Richard.
Yes, you're married to a time bomb ticking away. And there's no question it'll explode, only when.
This is suddenly becoming frightening. The thought never occurred to me.
With Lloyd, you could face prison. Maybe all of your best years taken away from you. With me, there is no hiding. There is no place we can't go. Nothing we can't do.
What are you talking about? What about Lloyd?
He's been declared dead. Simply think of him that way. A dead man.
I've often thought back to how it might have been.
Barnaby Jones.
Oh, yes, Mr. Jones. I understand you've been retained by the attorney, Mr. Moore.
Yes, he gave me your address, but nobody answered the bell. Nice place you have here.
Nice place my creditors have, you mean? Come on in.
Thanks.
I like to play a little early morning golf, kind of clears out the cobwebs. What can I do for you, Mr. Jones?
Well, you're possibly aware that my interest in the case is in trying to track down any company money the late Mr. Kellner may have been able to put away. You had a very close association with him. Got any ideas?
Well, frankly, our association wasn't all that close. Would you care for a glass of tomato juice? Or something stronger, if you'd like.
No, thanks. I just had breakfast.
Well, this is my breakfast. Tomato juice and vitamin pills.
Matter of routine, I like to have an overall picture of the case. Now, in the last 6 months during which Mr. Kellner may have taken money from the company, were you aware of any sudden new friends? Any new faces you can recall?
No, I doubt if I would have taken any notice.
Generally, when someone plans to embezzle a large amount of money, they have to be free to move around and put it somewhere, or have someone else do it for them. We've been able to establish that Mr. and Mrs. Kellner stuck pretty close to home the last 6 months.
Well, I'll tell you frankly, Mr. Jones, the whole subject of Lloyd Kellner is becoming very distasteful to me. Now, granted, I left too many decisions up to him, and I'm as much to blame for being in the hands of my creditors today. But an embezzler is worse than a common thief. He preys on trust. Kellner certainly preyed on mine.
Yes, I can understand how you feel.
I've lost everything. There are attachments against my house, my cars, paintings I've collected over the years. I've even been forced to dismiss my servants. I'm left with my personal clothing and my pets. I had to convince the appraiser my little pets needed their home.
Well, this certainly is a pretty arrangement.
Thank you. Is there anything else, Mr. Jones? I do have some other appointments.
I understand that Mrs. Kellner is living down at the marina. You think of any reason why she wouldn't have gone back to San Francisco?
Well, she's staying at a condominium apartment the company bought about 6 months ago. It's seldom used, so I suggested she use it to kind of rest up, you know, recover from her ordeal.
Do you have any friends down here you know of?
Well, I count myself as a friend. I'm certainly not holding against her the thievery of her husband. There are no other friends here that I know of.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Stamen.
You're welcome.
Mr. Friels.
Your husband's ashes, Mrs. Kellner.
What? Please come in.
Just a little personal service, delivering the urn to the bereaved wife. Final detail. Should anyone question you about Mr. Kellner's ashes?
Yes, we should have thought of that. Sorry you had such a long trip. Couldn't you have mailed it?
I thought it important enough to deliver it in person.
I do appreciate your trouble.
There's a charge for the urn and the delivery.
Certainly, I'll get my wallet.
You might wish to rent a boat, dispose of the ashes at sea.
It's a good idea. I'll take care of that. How much do I owe you?
$25,000. So you got a marvelous view.
You're in this as deep as we are.
But no deeper than before. I'm a modest man, Miss Kellner. I live very modestly. Now, someone else who smelled millions of dollars at stake might have asked for, say, a whole million. But not me. You paid $25,000. Another $25,000 rounds it out to a nice sounding 50.
But what could you do without implicating yourself?
At the present time, I'm not sure. But I think you and Mr. Kellner would want to keep me a contented man.
I'll try and get in touch with my husband. Might take a few days.
I'll drop back Saturday morning. 10 o'clock sharp. That's sufficient time.
What kind?
Not on the phone. And I don't think I should come to the boat anymore.
The telescope next to the undersea gardens.
10 minutes.
Mrs. Kellner. I didn't mean to startle you. My name is Jones, Barnaby Jones. I thought possibly Mr. Moore might have told you that you'd be hearing from me.
Look, Mr. Jones, if you're another attorney...
No, a private investigator. I can see that you're on your way somewhere. If this is inconvenient, we could do it another time.
I was going shopping.
Well, I don't have many questions. Why don't I just walk along?
Now, I knew very little about my husband's affairs, but no one will ever convince me he was involved in any wrongdoing.
Well, let me say again, Mrs. Kellner, I'm not here to pass judgment on anyone. I'm just trying to gather a few facts. Oh, incidentally, I saw the mortician, Mr. Friels, near your apartment. I suppose he dropped in on you.
Yes, he brought my husband's ashes to me.
Had a long trip for him.
He's very kind.
Well, I won't bother you anymore. The desert road where the accident occurred, there's some question about where you were headed.
To a motel. To discuss the terrible situation Lloyd found himself in.
Is there a motel on that road? I drove through there yesterday. I must have missed it.
No, Mr. Jones. There was no motel on that road. Lloyd had made a wrong turn. He discovered too late we were on the wrong road, which was the reason he was traveling so fast, trying to make up lost time getting back to the main highway.
I see. Well, thank you very much for your time.
His name is Jones. He's a private investigator.
What did he want?
What everyone else wants without coming right out with it. Any information leading to that money. He doesn't worry me, but Friels does.
Friels called?
Came in person. I have your ashes in an urn. The delivery charge is $25,000.
What'd you tell him?
That it would take time to raise the money. He's returning Saturday morning for it.
I'll take care of it.
If you're here for the services, sir, I'm sorry they're over.
Yes, I know.
Well, it's rather late, but if you're a friend of the deceased... Haven't we met before?
25,000 was the price.
Well, that's incredible. You look so different.
There's only 10 there. That's all I could raise on such short notice. Can we come to terms?
What kind?
Well, I've got most of it in investments. Give me a month.
How do I know I'll get paid? You and your wife off Lord only knows where.
We'd never chance double-crossing you. What? I bet you've got the whole story written down and put away in your safety deposit box, haven't you?
That was the first thing I did. You made a good guess, Mr. Kellner. Well, there's 10,000 here, as near as I can tell, but let's be more specific about when and where I'm going to collect the rest.
A little scary, isn't it? A few minutes in there, and everything you were fits into a small jug.
Well, takes a little longer than a few minutes. But let's talk about how I'm getting paid.
Well, that's going to be a little complicated.
You know, Friels, you'd never win any prizes for lying.
Huh?
See, that's what you should have done. You should have written out a statement and put it in your safety deposit box. Then you'd have it made. Give.
I really don't care about being paid anything more.
Oh. Oh, but I insist. And I hope you have a personal preference for cremation.
Hi, something I can do for you?
I was looking for Mr. Friel.
Well, I expect him in soon. My name's Brooks. I'm his assistant. Maybe I could help you.
Well, I wanted to ask him some questions about the Lloyd Kellner cremation, which took place here last Tuesday night. But I can come back in an hour.
Well, he should be back by then. We have a funeral to conduct. A cremation Tuesday night? Don't you mean last night?
No, last Tuesday. Mr. Kellner was killed in a car accident. They brought him here and cremated him the same night.
Well, I wasn't here on Tuesday. I didn't get back from my vacation till yesterday, but we've had only one cremation since I left, and that was last night. Before I left on my vacation, I had this tank refilled myself. It was still full when I got back yesterday, but as you can see this morning, it's down some 20 pounds, and that's just about what we use for one cremation.
Are you saying that since your vacation, there's been only one cremation here, and that was last night?
That's right.
Oh, why don't you join me, Richard? It's refreshing.
Oh, I get my fill of it nightly. 50 laps before bed.
That's right. I forgot. The well-disciplined Richard Stamens.
That's right. Time is becoming short, Bernice.
I know. I didn't sleep last night.
You're not having second thoughts, are you?
Wondering how it could be safely done.
I told you to leave that to me.
Lloyd isn't stupid, you know. He's becoming suspicious that you have no intention of paying. Incidentally, forgive me, but the business side of this, since we're to have a mutual trust here, don't you think I should have your confidence? Is there actually cash? Do you have it in banks? Under another name?
Come with me. Pretty, huh?
A colored pebble? Richard. Oh. It's beautiful.
You're looking at the most expensive fish tank in history. Top grade, finest cut. A little over $4 million. The finest quality diamonds Amsterdam had to offer. That's all ours.
The skid marks are of equal density. If Kellner had tried to turn the wheel there by turning the car over, the marks on one side would be heavier.
And lighter on the other. You think they staged this accident, don't you, Barnaby?
I haven't a shred of proof, but I don't buy all these coincidences. Your telephone booth over there? It's awfully convenient. If this is a hoax, I would explain why the Kellners were on this road. A road that leads only one place, back to the highway. Would explain why Friels said he dropped off Mrs. Kellner in town but didn't know where she went. He knew exactly where she went. He took her right to her apartment.
Well, Friel should be back at the mortuary by now. How in the world are you going to confront him?
I can't. For me to say Lloyd Kellner is alive, I'd have to produce him.
What are you thinking?
I was thinking about those ashes that Friel delivered to Mrs. Kellner.
She scattered the ashes at sea?
She scattered something at sea. Now we just may never be able to prove it wasn't her dear departed.
Not a dry eye in the house.
I'd like to have been there.
It's good I wore a veil. I started to giggle.
Heartless witch. We sail at noon tomorrow. Be firm with Stamens. We want a third of those diamonds.
Will do. Till noon.
Friels never returned to the mortuary.
Did you talk to the sheriff?
I was afraid to tell him what I suspected, that Friels never left the mortuary.
Barnaby, that conjures up a horrible thought.
Are you able to add anything to the file?
No. You were talking about too many coincidences? Well, I have a few more for us. With 6 months ago being the common denominator.
That's about the time Lloyd Kellner started fooling around with the company books.
The condominium apartment where Mrs. Kellner is living, that was purchased by the company 6 months ago.
Well, I can accept that as a coincidence.
All right, that's one. 6 months ago, Lloyd Kellner started taking language classes in Spanish.
Exactly 6 months ago.
And exactly 6 months ago, he became a member of a yacht club in San Francisco. And then he still had time, although I don't know how he did it, to enroll in a power squadron school. I spoke to the commodore of the school, and he said Lloyd Kellner took all of the courses right up to and including celestial navigation.
Celestial navigation. Maybe that explains why Mrs. Kellner chose this marina to get over her bereavement.
Richard, I don't know how to answer him. He wants a third of the diamonds, and he wants them now.
But I told you what story to give him. The diamonds are matching. They lose much of their value if sold separately.
Lloyd wants to meet with you.
Fine, but I told you we'd arrange it for Sunday night.
He insists on meeting you tonight. He might be getting suspicious about us. Just to pacify him, I think you should at least talk.
All right, fine. Where?
Do you know Randy's bar?
No, I never even heard of it.
It's a little complicated getting there, so you better write it down. Lloyd says he's making trouble if you don't show.
All right, hold on. Yes.
Take Sunset to the Coast Highway. Turn left.
Turn left.
2 miles south, there's an overpass.
Just give me the street, Bernice. I know the area.
Beyond the overpass, there's a short right.
The street, Bernice.
You work real fine.
I'll be right over.
Good.
Why, you look beat, Barnaby.
I was up all night, Lieutenant. You think that's the way it happened? He hit his head and drowned?
I'll try to keep an open mind, but it sure looks like it. He was drinking and stumbled with that glass they're picking up out there. Some minor cuts on his leg seem to say that. Something bugging you?
You know, I was only in this room for 5 minutes that day, but I'll swear that something has been changed.
You think one of the paintings is missing? I don't know much about art, but I'd say any of these would cost me a year's salary.
No, it wasn't that. We came in, we were talking. He had been playing golf. Came over here, got himself some tomato juice. Then he came back to feed the fish. The stones.
What stones?
They're gone.
Huh?
They were in the treasure chest, kind of spilled out over the sand. About 2 or 3 dozen of them.
What kind of stones were they?
Just ordinary stone, kind of colorful. Like that.
It was on the radio. They're calling it accidental drowning.
Take your time driving down. Use back roads.
When will you be leaving?
Try to get away by noon. Still got some supplies to get aboard.
Anybody home?
Invite you aboard, Mr. Jones. How did you find this boat?
That's very remarkable. You're much younger than the picture I had of you.
How'd you find it?
How'd I find the fancy flight? You know, that's a very appropriate name for a boat that's intended to take you and $3 or $4 million worth of diamonds to Mexico.
I asked you a question.
Well, it's a little complicated. Almost as complicated as you planning your own death.
Hello?
Get over here, right away. I need you. Right away.
It's surprising, Mr. Kellner, how ideas come to you. I woke up this morning and I said to myself, now, wait a minute. What would Mr. Kellner be doing that no honest boatman would be doing?
You always this chatty.
So I came up with a thought that all your transactions would have to be in cash. Even a checking account under an assumed name would be dangerous. Do you realize, Mr. Kellner, how few people pay their dock slip rentals in cash?
If you're so clever, why aren't the police here?
I have a feeling that they're on their way.
That's a bluff. You had nothing till you boarded this boat.
Oh, I had a few little things and some imagination. Am I to assume that our mortician friend, Mr. Friels, has departed for a better world?
He was a fool.
Richard Stamens was the brains behind this, wasn't he? What went wrong? A little dispute about how much your death was worth?
Oh, no.
Hold this on him.
Miss Kellner, you strike me as being rather gullible in several ways, especially the way you let Stamens con you into believing those were real diamonds.
Of course they're real.
Did you ever take a close look at one?
I'll cast off. Don't listen to him. And don't be afraid to use that gun if he moves an eyebrow.
Why would he go to the trouble of making paste diamonds?
6 months is long enough for him to dream up a way to pay you off with some nicely cut glass.
He never expected us to get our hands on them, so why would he play games?
Maybe Stamos trusted you a lot less than you thought.
Genuine. What's the point, Jones?
Well, one point is time. That could be important here. And two, I wanted to know the location of the stones. I didn't want this case to be over and find out that you had hidden $4 million somewhere. In that case, my job wouldn't be finished.
Your job is finished, Jones. Don't worry about it.
You folks know how many boats there are here in the marina?
Meaning?
Meaning that if only 1 or 2% of them have their radios on, the police switchboard ought to be all jammed up. Now, if some of you folks out there listening will just lean on your horns, it'll prove that everything's over for you two.
Is it on?
I'll cast off. If he makes a move, kill him.
I might mention, Mrs. Kellner, a police monitoring post was set up in the marina this morning.
All you did was stumble around. Lucky guesses.
If that consoles you, Mrs. Kellner?
Barnaby Jones, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, with guest stars Patrick O'Neill, Joan Van Ark, Charles Aidman. Tonight's episode, The Challenge.
Arnold, please. Arnold, will you stop? Arnold, please. I'm trying to talk to you. I'm not leaving till you talk to me.
You mean the way you talk to Nancy?
She had to know.
Sure. The wife's always got to know if the husband's fooling around. Otherwise, it's no fun.
I told Nancy that I'm in love with you and that you love me. I thought I was telling the truth.
Maybe you were, Kathy. But it doesn't matter now, don't you see? I mean, the condominiums, the business, every cent of it Nancy's. Without her, I've got nothing.
We can live without her money.
Sorry, Kath, but I can't.
I have to go. They booked me an early flight in the morning. Arnold, if you change your mind, the ad agency's putting us up at the Lawana Shores Hotel in Honolulu.
Oh, Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, you're a mean man, kicking out a sweet lady like that. Not to mention standing up a terrific guy like me. You missed our appointment today.
My wife knows all about Kathy and me. She walked out this morning.
I'm through paying your blackmail, Captain.
It's not that easy, Mr. Moore.
Damn it, friend, the wallet is empty. You've got no more hold on me.
No more Wednesday appointments. No more $500 a week to keep your mouth closed.
See, now it's my turn to squeeze you. I'm going to go to the police, and when they've heard what I have to tell, the hell that you put me through will be nothing compared to what they'll do to you.
Oh, now, Mr. Moore, you're getting yourself all worked up. It could be we can work something out.
There is nothing left to work out.
I'd think twice about that, Mr. Moore.
Cabot, you know what I'd do if I were you? I'd start running. Because I'm going to get the first laugh I've had in months, seeing you behind bars.
Red, you made a big mistake.
But Arnold's bathing trunks were still wet, Mr. Jones. Did you ever hear of a man taking a swim just before putting an end to his life?
Well, now, Mrs. Moore, according to this police report, that may have been exactly what he did.
Arnold would never commit suicide, Mr. Jones. He enjoyed living too much. He loved all the good things too much to take his own life.
Most of us do. The trouble is, most of us are like me. We can't afford them all.
When my father died, he saw to it that I could, Mr. Jones. I loved my husband. I encouraged his tastes. Good food, good wine.
Sounds like you think you may have spoiled him.
Unfortunately, Arnold had another taste for what he called good company. He wasn't the most faithful of husbands.
You sure of that?
I suspected it for some time. He even called in the Raider Detective Agency to find out once and for all.
What'd they say?
As a matter of fact, the agent on the case gave Arnold a clean bill of health. But he was wrong. The day Arnold died, a woman called me. She didn't give her name, but she confirmed everything that I had suspected all along.
I want this data comparison coded for, the last 3 years, will you? Barnaby!
Quite a little place you got here.
Oh, it's about time you came to see it. Well, come on. What do you think?
Well, you're doing a lot better than you were when you were a forensic chemistry student in my class. You got more machinery in here than they moved into my Uncle Ezra's dairy farm after Aunt Jean got tired of hand milking.
Well, Raider offers total services, from delivering payrolls to investigating murder. I hope you're finally going to take me up on my offer to join us.
No, I'm working on a case. About 3 months ago, you did a surveillance for a Mrs. Arnold Moore. What I would like to see is the investigative log and also the man who worked on it, if possible.
Sure. Investigator, Arnold Moore, surveillance. No problem, no. The man you want's one of our best, Frank Cabot.
Sour ball, Mr. Jones?
Oh, thank you very kindly.
Make yourself comfortable.
There you go.
Let's try my swinging seat.
Very interesting, but I think I'll just sit here. You don't mind?
Barnaby, I got to run. You sure you won't reconsider my offer and join up?
No, thanks. I always like to do my own milking.
Milking? You a farmer, Mr. Jones?
Well, I left the farm some time ago. I'm a private investigator.
Retired?
Not yet.
I knew nostalgia was the big thing these days. I hadn't realized it'd come this far.
Well, it takes more than age to make an antique, Mr. Cabot. I'm looking for information about Arnold Moore.
Oh, you're the one. Yeah, Moore's insurance company told me his wife had hired a private investigator to check on his death. She doesn't think it was suicide.
And you were hired to prove that it was?
Case was kicked over to me about an hour ago. You're right. His policy doesn't pay if it was suicide. I was just going over his investigation file.
Say, I'd like to have a look at that.
You're welcome to it. It's really good, quite thorough.
Well, Mrs. Moore seems to feel that you overlooked one thing. Mr. Moore had a girlfriend.
I don't make mistakes on basics like that. You read the file. Moore wasn't involved with anybody.
Well, Ms. Moore says he was. The woman even called her.
Yeah, well, Mrs. Moore could be mistaken.
Well, her husband didn't seem to think so. As a matter of fact, he admitted it.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, it looks like I blew one. But, you know, it could be that Moore was out of touch with his girlfriend when I was following him.
That may be. But I figure if I can find his girlfriend, she might be able to throw some light on what happened the night he died.
You know, Mr. Jones, if you're correct in this, I've got my professional standing to redeem. Tell you what, why don't I wrap this thing up for both of us?
Well, I appreciate that very much, Mr. Cabot, but I don't think it'd be fair to my client.
Well, I don't care if you call it an accident or suicide, but there's no point in both of us spinning our wheels over the same ground. Besides, since you're such a good friend of the management, I won't even send you a bill.
Well, that's very kind of you, Mr. Cabot, but I think I'll just keep putting one foot in front of the other and see where it leads me.
Well, that's up to you, but don't forget, better man always wins.
I'll keep that in mind, Mr. Cabot. I'll keep that in mind.
Mr. Stevenson? Mr. Stevenson?
Oh, what is it, Sheila?
Well, I just wanted to say goodnight. I'm going home now. Unless you need me for anything.
No, go ahead. Have a nice evening.
Stevenson?
I beg your pardon?
Frank Cabot, Rated Detective Agency. We've been hired to look into some discrepancies of Vanguard Investments business affairs.
Well, that's impossible. I never made such a decision.
Well, it seems that you're the one man your board of directors didn't ask. They're a little upset. The ripoff comes to over $100,000.
Mr. Cabot, this is hardly the place to be talking about such matters.
Well, we could go back to your office. That's the way you juggled all your accounts, isn't it?
What do you mean, juggling? I never did any juggling.
No, Mr. Stevenson, you can be honest with me. These cases are always the same. A woman, gambling.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure your superiors would consider those stocks a gamble, Mr. Stevenson. A very poor one.
How did you know about those stocks? Now, look, I'm not a rich man. When those stocks pay off, there'll be enough to return the money and still ensure my future.
I'm sorry, Mr. Stevenson. I know how you must feel, but I have to make that report. Now, believe me, it's not easy having to ruin good people just because they've made one mistake.
Mr. Cabot, this report of yours, when is it due?
Tomorrow morning, I'm afraid.
But it could be delayed.
Oh, now, Mr. Stevenson, I think I see what you're getting at, but now you're asking me to put my future on the line.
Perhaps if there was some extra money in it for you?
Well, now, I don't want you to think there's anybody who couldn't use extra money.
I can make it very attractive. All you have to do is hold up that report.
Look, you're a nice guy. That's not right that all the nice guys in the world have to take in the neck. Why don't we talk tomorrow? We can work out the details by then.
Well, we can. I'm sure that we can.
Well, until then, I don't want you to worry about a thing, Mr. Stevens. Okay?
Wait, Mr. Cabot. I'm not unskilled. I felt certain that my transactions were absolutely untraceable. How did you find out?
Well, there's one thing about a good detective, Mr. Stevenson. He's always got his ways. Hooked.
You're good. You're really good. We've got it made.
Well, not quite.
And when you're all finished, bring me everything you find in the filter trap.
Oh, sure. Well, Mr. Jones, up early, huh?
Well, I don't like to let much time go by. You're kind of up with the chickens yourself.
Yeah, well, I got this strange rooster with built-in AM, FM radio, stereo, tape deck, the whole thing. Wakes me up every morning, crowing the news. So, did you find anything important while time was jogging by?
Depends on what you consider important. Take a look over here.
Is this where Moore went over?
According to where the police found his body. Now, why would a man bent on killing himself pick a place like this where he had to fight his way through a jungle?
If you ever decide to go over, you want a nice clear runway, is that it?
Seems to me this would be a more likely spot.
I don't want to puncture any pet theories, but according to psychiatrists I talked to, this might be too easy.
How do you mean?
Well, the man committing suicide is usually trying to prove something. Now, 9 times out of 10, he'll choose the most difficult way. Then he's got more time to change his mind if he's afraid.
You might have a point.
Mr. Jones?
Yeah.
I'm just about finished, but I think I did get everything that was in that filter trap, just like you asked for.
Oh, thank you very much. This may be very helpful.
Well, they say that the depths of the sea hold many secrets. I didn't know that applied to swimming pools.
Well, when you don't know what you're looking for, it doesn't hurt to look everywhere.
Yeah, if you say so. Why don't you let me take that down to our lab? They'll do the analysis for you in no time.
Well, I don't want to inconvenience you. My lab may be old-fashioned, but we get the work done. I'll tell you what. I'll send you a copy of the report. And since you're such a good friend of the management, I won't even send you a bill.
Go.
$1,000?
All you have to do to earn it is to hold up that report of yours.
Well, how do I explain these inaccurate figures in the company's accounts?
You give me enough time and I'll take care of those. Believe me, those stocks will pay off when the market turns around.
Okay, Mr. Stevenson, you made yourself a deal.
Thank you, Mr. Cabot. You won't regret this.
I'm sure I won't. See you next week.
What was that, Mr. Cabot?
Next week. Same time, same place. Now, $1,000 is a great deal of money in some circles, but you'll have to admit it's a little inadequate when you consider the risk.
It's all I can afford. I have a family to take care of.
So do I. You took more than $100,000, and you're going to more than double that.
Not till the stocks go up. I can't touch them till then.
Mr. S., you're a smart man. Now, who's to know if you dip your hand in the till again? You might even get better at it. Practice makes perfect.
You're a blackmailer. You're nothing but a blackmailer.
I guess that's just another shame you'll have to live down. Starting another man on the road to crime. I'll regard this check as a down payment. You can pay the rest in weekly installments. Say $500 each.
If I refuse?
Oh, well, I'm afraid I'd have to make my report very prompt and very damaging. Now, neither one of us wants that, do we?
I should have recognized you for the thief you are from the start.
Now, don't be sulky. See you in 7 days. Spoil your mood or anything, but may I ask what you're doing here? I mean, are you deliberately trying to blow your cover?
I waited until he left. He never saw me. I called Kathy Sayer's agent this morning. She's finished her modeling assignment and she'll be flying into L.A. tonight.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful. That's terrific, but I didn't ask you to do that.
I was just trying to please you.
Sheila, you're an inside operative. Your job is to get in where I put you and to learn what I need to know. And the way to please me is to do just what I tell you. Now, no more volunteering. You understand?
Yes.
Made out of fired clay, and you see that little smudge down at this end?
Just barely.
Well, I did some scraping of that and ran a test and turned out to be ash.
And what you have me staring at is probably just a broken piece of ashtray?
And there are about 3 or 4 more just like it up on the roof next to the pool, and that's where this one came from.
What does it prove?
Maybe nothing. Depends on how it was broken and when.
Hello, Kathy. How'd you like Hawaii?
Who are you and how did you get in here?
Detective, Miss Sayers. I'd like to talk to you about Arnold Moore.
Arnold? Is something wrong?
Mr. Moore's dead, Miss Sayers. Happened a few days ago.
Oh, no. Oh.
Sorry, Miss Sayers. I know this must come as a great shock.
I've been away on a fashion layout. How did it happen?
Violently. That's why I wanted to talk to you. You were one of Moore's secrets. Anyone know he was seeing you?
There was Carl Hastings. We ran into him once at a restaurant. But Carl was a good friend. He pretended not to see us. In fact, I don't even think he got a good look at me.
Anyone else? Anyone who wasn't such a friend who might have wanted to hurt him?
There was a man. Arnold told me about him. He was blackmailing Arnold.
You never saw this man?
No, but Arnold did mention his name. Cahill, no. Cabot, that's it, Frank Cabot.
Miss Sayers, I think you better come with me.
Yes, anything I can do to help. By the way, how did you know about me? Excuse me, officer, can I see your ID again?
That's what happened to the ashtray.
Mr. McKay, do you recall exactly when you noticed there was one missing?
Oh, I recall, Mr. Jones, I recall. See, part of my job's buying replacements for anything that gets broken. Now, the ashtray was gone the morning after what happened to Mr. Moore.
You sure about that?
Yes, sir. See, the night before, I'd just finished cleaning the pool area when Mr. Moore came out to swim. Now, when I left, all the ashtrays were there.
And the next morning, there was one missing?
Yes, sir. But there were no broken pieces I would have noticed.
Well, now, if the police sealed off the rooftop within 15 minutes of Mr. Moore's fall, that would mean that whoever picked up the broken pieces of the ashtray would almost have to have been there when he fell. Did you notice any of the other tenants on the roof?
No, sir. It's really too chilly for most of our people, except for Mr. Moore.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. McKay. Ms. Moore, you didn't ever see the woman who called you, did you?
No. I don't know now if I'm glad or very sorry.
Did your husband have any other, people who were close to him?
There was one person, an old school friend he brought into the business, Carl Hastings. Why?
We're looking for a witness, special kind of a witness, who could explain how your husband could jump to his death and at the same time manage to dispose of a broken ashtray. Mr. Hastings? What a slice you got there. Great on dog legs. I had an uncle who used to practice his rhythm by swinging a horseshoe tied to a rope. He used to kick himself in the stern a lot, but it cured his slice.
I'll try to remember that. Are you
some kind of pro?
Pro detective. Your office said I might find you here. My name is Barnaby Jones. Nancy Moore hired me to look into the death of her husband.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I have nothing to say.
Mr. Hastings, you were Arnold Moore's closest friend. I'm hoping that he told you something about that girlfriend of his.
Arnold's dead, Mr. Jones. Why can't we leave it at that?
His wife needs to know how he died, and I think she's entitled to that, don't you?
Arnold Moore was the best friend I ever had. He gave me a chance, a job, when nobody else would.
Well, he doesn't sound like the kind of a man who would object to the truth. Besides, if you cleared your mind, it might improve your golf swing.
Okay, Mr. Jones. I have been going through Arnold's business accounts. I found a series of weekly withdrawals. $500 each, stretching back 3 months now.
Now, what do you suppose you did with all that money?
I don't know. It was listed under the heading of out-of-pocket expenses. I can only tell you, Mr. Jones, our pockets never had business expenses like that.
The girlfriend?
I knew Arnold was seeing a young lady. If he were alive, I'd never say anything, you understand? But now, what do I tell Nancy?
Hastings? Excuse me, Frank Cabot. Morning, Jones. You're really doing quite well. Those feet of yours moving you right along.
Well, apparently, you're not doing too badly yourself.
Matter of fact, I'm not. How well would you say you knew Moore's girlfriend, Mr. Hastings?
I only saw her once.
That was that time at the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Isn't this the girl?
I can't be sure. It was 4 months ago. Lights were dim. I was across the room.
Well, take your time. Study her carefully.
The hair color's right. She has that willowy look.
That's fine, Mr. Hastings. You've been quite a help. Oh, I'm sorry. I take it you haven't found the mystery lady yet.
No, Mr. Cabot, and I must admit I'm impressed.
No, please. I owe it all to a certain kindly stranger. After you poked holes in my old report, I thought I'd better fill them in.
They do say a man learns by his mistakes.
Well, that's something we can all remember. Now, don't let these little setbacks get you down, Jonesy. Always better days ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings.
Operator, this is mobile LG1 5699. Give me 555-8442.
Mr. Stevenson's office.
All right, lady, now's the time you can really start pleasing me.
How you doing, Jones? Just fine. I figured that you wouldn't mind if I joined you.
Jones, if I did, I'd have lost you about 5 miles back.
I'm much obliged, Mr. Cabot. You've given an old hound the thrill of the chase.
My pleasure.
Just who is it that we're not going to find here anyway?
See for yourself.
Is there something I can do for you two gentlemen?
Sheila Bonner?
Yes.
Private investigators?
What terrible crime have I committed?
We just want to ask you a few questions.
All right, come on in. I'm not really feeling very well, but if it's important enough for the two of you to come here.
I realize it's difficult when you've lost a loved one.
Does this have to do with Arnold?
No one wants to bring up any pain, Miss Bonner, but we have to have information about Mr. Moore.
The only thing that matters is that he's gone, and I'm alone.
Miss Bonner, nothing can change that.
No, not now. But if I hadn't called her, if Arnold and I hadn't argued.
You argued?
Yes, the night he died. I went to see him up at the pool. He was furious at me for having called his wife. I suppose I was just as angry. But why couldn't he see that I'd done it for us?
That's how you left it?
No, not quite. When Arnold said I'd ruined his life, I told him if that was the way he felt about it, then it was over between us. I was finished. I didn't mean it, but...
But what?
Arnold pushed me. I hit a table and knocked over an ashtray. Would you believe it? I actually cleaned up the pieces.
Why did you bother at a time like that?
Well, it's a woman's trick, doing something silly like that. It took the edge off the fight. And it gave Arnold a chance to apologize.
Where did you put the broken pieces?
I dumped them into the trash bin on my way out.
You say Mr. Moore apologized?
Yes. Only I told him to forget it. I was finished. I hoped he'd come after me, but he didn't.
I just have one more question. You have some very nice pieces in here. Did you buy them yourself?
Arnold enjoyed giving me nice things. I guess I just didn't have whatever it takes to turn them down.
Did you also pay the rent?
You said just one question, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Miss Bonner. Sorry we had to come by. Sorry about everything. Like I said, Jonesy, you should have let me wrap this up for you.
You think this is all?
Well, Arnold Moore wakes up one morning with everything. By that same night, he's got nothing at all, not even his mistress. Wouldn't you say it's a good motive for suicide?
Moore's insurance company will be very happy, Mr. Cabot. I'd say you've got your motive all right.
I'm sorry I'm late. Any luck so far?
You know, Betty, I could have sworn this was a murder.
Well, maybe these can help. Arnold Moore's business records. And, well, this is everything that I could find on Sheila Bonner.
Arnold Moore and Sheila Bonner. You know, listening to that young lady today was just like reading Cabot's surveillance log. Everything's so pat.
She did have all the answers.
Yeah, no place to check them out. I can't figure out all these withdrawals.
Well, prices are going up, Barnaby. Even with girlfriends.
But $500 a week, and as regular as clockwork.
What is it?
Hey, maybe this clockwork has some kind of a calendar in it. When was it that Mrs. Moore received that report from Cabot?
It was 3 months ago, on the 3rd.
That's the same week Arnold Moore made his first withdrawal. Now, we know from Hastings that Moore had been seeing that girl for over 4 months.
I get it. The $500 withdrawals didn't begin until...
3 months ago. The very same week that Cabot gave Moore a clean bill of health with his wife.
You think Moore paid Cabot to keep quiet about the girlfriend?
That would sure explain these strange entries in Cabot's log.
You think he doctored that?
It fits. And so does something else.
What?
Once the girlfriend blew the whistle by calling the wife, Moore had nothing else to hide.
Then he would have no reason to keep paying Cabot.
Exactly. And Cabot is not the type who becomes a good loser or wants any witnesses around.
What about all the things that Sheila Bonner told you?
Sheila Bonner. I haven't quite figured out that young lady. According to her employment record, she worked in a lot of places in a very short time.
She once worked for one of those temporary office help companies. Maybe she got the habit.
Where did they place her?
That list is back here. Here. Raider detective agents. Barnaby, she worked there.
All right, Barnaby. Someone by the name of Sheila Bonner was working here as a temporary secretary last year. But we employ temporaries all the time.
Did you know that that girl has shown up working at half the businesses Cabot investigated for you since then?
They probably worked well together. As you know, a few of our investigators recruit people to work as inside operatives, pay them out of their own pockets.
What's this case Cabot's working on now? Vanguard Investments Incorporated.
Oh, their board was afraid the controller was getting greedy, and they didn't want to frighten the stockholders with an audit, so they hired us. Why?
Did you know that Sheila Bonner's working for them?
Look, Barnaby, all I know is, according to Cabot, that Stevenson, the controller, is clean.
Are you a betting man?
No.
Good, because I wouldn't bet on Stevenson's honesty.
What about Cabot's?
The way I feel about him is, I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell him I was here.
Barnaby? Oh, no. All I want to know, really.
Hang on to your questions, because I'm going to have some answers very shortly.
Here's that report. Vader's supposed to leave some stuff on his desk for me.
Mr. Stevenson's office?
Put Stevenson on.
Frank, what's the matter?
This isn't a question and answer session, Sheila. Now put him on. Yes?
I told you, Mr. Jones, Mr. Stevenson's left for the day.
Forgive me, Miss Bonner, but after the story you told me yesterday, I find it hard to believe what you're telling me today.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're almost as good at this as your friend Cabot. What did he do, cut you in on a percentage?
Mr. Jones, if you don't get out of here, I'm going to call a security guard.
It's not just blackmail now, Miss Bonner. If I'm right, you could be charged as an accessory to a murder.
I told you, I don't know anything about Mr. Cabot or Mr. Moore.
You ought to at least know where your boss went.
I'm afraid Mr. Stevenson can't be reached.
It's a shame I couldn't reach you, Miss Bonner. It's a real shame.
Judy, will you please take Mr. Stevenson's calls?
All right, Cabot, what is it now? What do you want?
Oh, nothing. I'm letting you off the hook, Mr. Stevenson.
What about your report?
Oh, I'm going to help you out. We just have to figure it out exactly how to keep your accounts from conflicting with my report. Come on, let's take a walk.
Best cover-up would be to blame the whole thing on a bookkeeping error. Say that the money that's gone never really existed. Now, if your report could back that up. Stevenson?
That's as far as we go.
Well, what are you doing?
Sorry. I have a delicate situation. You're a weak man. You broke for me, you'd cave in for anybody else.
Cabot, please.
Frank, no!
What are you doing here?
Jones figured it out. It's too late.
Cabot, freeze!
Stupid! All of you stupid!
Seems I was wrong for once, Jonesy. Better man doesn't win after all.
Let's go, Cap.
Barnaby Jones, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, with guest stars Fritz Weaver, Paris Yulin, Mario Racuzzo, and Helm. Tonight's episode, Conspiracy of Terror.
that's the story. I had no real insurance. Nothing. Nothing for Helen and the kids. So it wasn't tough for me to say that Charlotte Sheffield and I were having an affair. And that I killed her in a fit of anger.
But now you say you didn't?
No, Sheffield killed her. I was dying. I had nothing to lose. But Lauren Sheffield promised me that if I took the blame, he'd look after my wife and children.
Riley, you know very well that you don't need me for this. If you call a press conference, you'd have your story in the headlines by morning.
No. I don't want that. Mr. Terrence, the cons here say you can be trusted. Your book,
7 Death Row.
Yeah. You treated those guys right. You gotta promise me you'll do this for me, too.
I'm listening.
I'm keeping up my end of the bargain. I'll do the time. It can't be much longer the way I feel. But I gotta be sure that Sheffield keeps up his end of the deal. And he takes care of Helen and the kids.
What did you want me to do, Riley?
When I'm gone, if he goes back on his word, you can use this story any way you want. But I want the story of Charlotte Sheffield's murder told.
You can count on it. But you'd shake him up a lot more if you told the authorities now.
No. Then Helen would have nothing.
Who's there? How long have you been standing there?
It's okay. Stacy's my cellmate.
Yeah, I just come to tell Riley that he's wanted down to radiology. Didn't mean to interrupt anything.
We'll talk again soon, Riley.
You will do what I ask?
Sure.
Thanks. I don't know exactly why Sheffield killed her. Porter Long didn't come get me until Charlotte had been dead for some time. He said there'd been an accident, that Mr. Sheffield needed my help.
Lauren, let me talk to him first. Why? I have an idea. Just give me 5 minutes. It'll make things a lot easier.
All right, Porter. If Stacy Vernon's message is correct, it could mean trouble. I must have that tape.
I was only a stringer, but I worked for Sheffield's paper for over 8 years. It wasn't unusual he'd call me up to the house. I'd been there maybe a dozen times before.
Mr. Terrence, I'm Porter Long. I represent...
Yes, I know who you represent. I'm very busy, Mr. Long.
Well, I'm sorry for intruding at such a late hour. But I understand you received some information regarding Mr. Sheffield today.
There really isn't any point in our fencing words. I know John Riley didn't kill Charlotte Sheffield.
Riley's using you, Mr. Terrence.
Oh?
He wants to get revenge on Lauren. The same reason he went after Charlotte. For some unknown reason, Riley hates Lauren.
I think he has a very good reason indeed.
Well, you must understand how a man in Mr. Sheffield's position, the state Senate race in front of him, publicity like this could destroy it.
Oh, yes, it could. It could. You know, I promised Riley that I'd remain silent so long as Sheffield took care of his family. I would never go back on my word. But the thought of Sheffield gaining a foothold in government, well, I just have to fight him another way on that. I advise against that.
Lauren.
Writer of your experience, Mr. Terrence, must realize that in my position, I can do you a great deal of good. Or harm. Yes, I'm well aware of the power of the press.
Good. Then we can do business like two civilized men.
I'm afraid your place would be a little too civilized for me, considering what Riley has already told me.
I knew Charlotte was dead the minute I saw her. Sheffield never turned a hair. He asked me to cover up her murder the same way you'd ask for a second cup of coffee.
Leave it alone, Sheffield.
Don't be a fool. Don't be a fool. I can't allow this to be held over my head.
I warn you, this is loaded. Now put the tape on the desk.
Perhaps we could work something out.
The only reason I haven't gone to the police is my promise to Riley. Now put it down. Now don't tempt me and get out of here, both of you.
He's dead.
Put him back up in his chair.
What are you doing?
Everybody knows writers are emotionally unstable. Look, make a simple case of suicide.
Don't you see, Mr. Jones, there's no reason for Jeffrey to commit suicide.
I've never heard of a good reason for suicide. I'm more interested in why he wouldn't.
Jeffrey celebrated life. He reveled in the challenge of it.
So did Hemingway.
Mr. Jones, I agented the sale of Jeffrey's first book. And I was there when he won his Pulitzer. I knew him better than anyone.
I'm sure you did, but if he didn't kill himself, we're talking about murder. And that's a pretty strong medicine to be taking without a prescription.
Okay, I know it isn't evidence. And you'll probably say it's frivolous.
Try me, Miss Meyer.
All right. You've probably read about the grand parties Jeffrey liked to throw. Oh, he loved them. About the only thing he loved more was going to someone else's. And this Friday, we were to fly to London for the Duke's costume ball. Jeffrey had already selected his outfit.
And you figure he wouldn't be caught dead missing that?
Exactly. An ugly death like this, never. It's an embarrassment he'd never impose on himself. Or anyone else.
What about his writing? Was he working on a book?
Nearly finished. And planning another after that. Well, the day he died, you know, he called me. All excited. It was something about an interview with an inmate at state prison. Suicide was the last thing on his mind.
Well, I must admit, he doesn't sound like a man who was thinking of taking his own life. But puzzle is, if he didn't, who did?
Well, now, that's why I want you to take the case. To find out.
Well, Miss Meyer, it sounds a little more like a challenge than an offer. Nevertheless, I'll take you up on it.
Oh, by the way, I hope you all understand, gentlemen and ladies, forgive me, Bertha. I hope you all understand that I want any mention of the candidacy held at a very low key. I mean, it's hardly proper if the Sheffield media toot the Sheffield horn too loud and too long. We don't want a backlash vote.
Well, then you want us to hold a low profile until your candidacy is announced officially.
Not too low, though. I still want to get elected. Frank, I never tried to influence your column, now did I? But a kind word from you wouldn't hurt.
You forget, Lauren, I'm incorruptible.
Oh, yes. I forgot. That's the very word I had in mind. Ah, darling. You look lovely. Thank you all for coming. Frank.
Are you sure, Lauren? There isn't another announcement you want to tell me about? Hmm?
You forget, Bertha, I'm a recent widower. And for now, at least, a confirmed bachelor. But I promise if I change my mind, you'll have an exclusive.
I'll hold you to that.
Silk against satin. Smooth all the way.
Not if this Terrence thing blows up in our faces.
How can it? We've destroyed the tape.
What if Riley should decide to talk to someone else?
You better make sure he understands what will happen if he does. I want no slip-ups. Not now.
Note here in the apex, John. It appears to be much clearer than it was a month ago.
Does that mean I'm getting better?
John, I don't want to build your hopes up unduly, but yes. The carcinoma has definitely entered a state of remission. What's the matter? I thought you'd be pleased.
If you don't mind, I'd like to be alone for a while, okay?
Take all the time you want.
Mr. Riley?
Yes?
Barnaby Jones. Took an awful lot of talking and paper signing to get in here to see you. This place is tougher to get into than Fort Knox.
It's even tougher to get out of. Mr. Jones, didn't you get my message? I really don't know anything about Jeffrey Terrence that you can use.
Well, there's just a couple of details that I need. Mr. Terrence's agent was very anxious to find out exactly what he was working on at the time of his death.
Best of my memory, all he did was ask me general questions. How I reacted to prison, stuff like that. I guess he thought since I'd been a newspaper man, I could articulate it better than most.
And it was Mr. Terrence who asked for the interview?
Yes. Why do you ask?
Well, you newspaper people need a nose for news. A detective just needs a nose. One of the guards told me that he saw Mr. Terrence tape recording your conversation.
Yes, I suppose he did. I wasn't having a very good day.
Remember any of the questions?
Mr. Jones, I'm sorry. I don't even remember my answers. The doctor said that it was because of the medication I was receiving.
Yeah, sometimes your memory deserts you at odd moments. I remember once I was introducing my mother-in-law to a group of people, and I said, folks, I want you to meet my mother-in-law, Mrs. Couldn't remember her name. Believe me, I remembered it after that. Well, we should have no trouble finding that tape among Mr. Terrence's things. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Well, one more thing. On the day of the interview, did Mr. Terrence exhibit any signs of thinking of suicide?
No. Of course, all my years as a newspaper man, I never met anyone who could say when a man on a ledge was going to jump.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Unless, of course, the man was pushed. Thank you, Mr. Riley.
I hope you decided to use your head in there, Riley. Use my head? Well, those friends of yours, they're my friends now. That lawyer Portalong got for me a couple of months ago, he's springing me tomorrow. Hey, I'm very happy for you, Stacy. Stay happy, then. Don't get any more ideas about opening up your mouth like you did with Terrence, huh? Otherwise, your family's had it.
Brennan!
Long said to remind you that Most accidents take place in the home. You know, there's no telling what could happen if they weren't around to keep an eye on the kids. You think about it.
Find anything on the Riley interview?
No. I'll say this for Mr. Terrence. I've never seen such organized material.
Oh, that was Jeffrey's forte as a writer. Completely organized. Ultimate attention to the smallest detail.
You can see that again. Look at these cassettes.
I have been for hours. Every one of them. Everything neatly labeled and cataloged.
That's not what I mean. Every single cassette had a full left spool on side one. It means that they were all rewound, and not one of them was taken off the machine in the middle of play.
Doesn't that just mean that Mr. Terrence kept his materials ready to use?
Well, I think it tells us a little more than that. Unless we can find one cassette that was ejected before it was rewound, we know there's one missing.
Well, there shouldn't be. Nothing's been touched since Jeffrey's body was found.
Well, that's what troubles me. The counter on the recorder here reads 462, but there's no cassette.
And if Mr. Terrence had rewound that tape the way he did all of the others, then the counter would read 0.
Right. The last tape he was working on was removed in the middle of its play.
The Riley interview.
Well, since that's the one we can't find, that's a pretty good bet.
What puzzles me is why anyone would want that interview tape badly enough to kill Jeffrey. You know, if I'd had any idea that Riley's letter to Jeffrey would have led to this.
You mean Riley asked for the interview?
Yes, of course. Why?
You told me it was the other way around.
Then he lied. Riley pleaded for that interview. A dying man Jeffrey couldn't refuse.
I kind of thought that Riley wasn't revealing everything he knew. Makes you kind of wonder what was really on that interview tape.
Small chance. If Riley doesn't tell you, there's no one left to ask.
There may be one. Stacy Vernon, Riley's cellmate, gets out of prison today. A high-priced lawyer named Scovall got him out on a technicality. Betty, would you see if you can find out who hired Mr. Scovall?
I'll get right on it. Oh, where are you going to be?
Well, I think that Miss Meyer and I are going to try to give a helping hand to Mr. Vernon on his road to rehabilitation.
Stacy Vernon?
Yeah. Barnaby Jones is my name. Miss Meyer and I thought you'd probably need a lift into town. If things work out right, you could make a few dollars in the bargain.
Well, what are you talking about?
Well, get in, we'll explain.
Hey, I sure appreciate you stopping. You know, for 2 years, I dreamt about one of these things. It's funny, huh? Not chicks or booze or cars.
If you accept Miss Meyer's proposition, you'll have the money for the whole list.
Come on, I don't know nothing about writing.
You don't have to. I can get someone to handle that. What I'm interested in is the information that Jeffrey Terrence received in his interview with John Riley. So if you could recall something, it could be extremely valuable.
How valuable?
Since it's possible we could get a book out of it. Let's say $10,000 for your fee.
Let's say 25,000.
All right, 25,000. What's the matter?
I think Mr. Vernon is having trouble adjusting to the rarefied atmosphere.
Yeah, I sure am. Lady, I don't know nothing about what you want. I wish I did.
But you said...
First day madness. All ex-cons get it.
Hey, listen, I think I'm gonna walk from here. I got some thinking I want to do. Thanks for the ride and the hamburger.
You know where to reach us if you remember anything.
Well, what did I do wrong?
It's a good thing you're a literary agent, not a private detective. You would raise the overhead something terrible.
Well, I just thought if the amount were high enough, he'd have to tell us.
The trouble with inflation is it makes a seller's market. If Vernon has anything, he'll shop it around. Then I think we'll hear from him.
It wasn't very smart of you to come here like this. Could have been seen.
Don't mean to trouble you, Mr. Sheffield. It's just that after Mr. Long got me that lawyer and all, well, I wanted to thank you. Had no idea I'd get out so fast.
Truthfully, neither did I.
Yeah, well, things are sure going my way now. I even got an offer to write a book.
What kind of book?
Audrey Meyer, Mr. Terrence's agent, offered me $25,000. Seems to think there's a book in the information that Riley gave Terrence. She and a detective named Jones met me when I got out.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, Porter. Let Stacy make his point.
Well, since she seems to think it's going to be a bestseller, and knowing Mr. Sheffield here was in the publishing business...
You're talking blackmail.
No, I never mentioned that. I just wanted to give Mr. Sheffield first crack.
How much?
Well, let's say you were to double that agent's offer. $50,000.
$50,000? I don't have that kind of money in the house.
Take a down payment for starters.
That's fair enough. Porter? Coffee, Mr. Vernon.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
$2,000.
I'm afraid this will have to do till we can arrange for the rest. You call when you're located.
Sure, sure. Listen, it was nice doing business with you guys. For a while there, I thought you might take it wrong.
Oh, no, not at all. No, I admire a man who recognizes his assets and uses them. Good day, Mr. Vernon. Get rid of him.
I can't just kill someone. I mean, Terrence's death couldn't be helped. And Charlotte. Well, I can understand how in anger...
She embarrassed me with her drunken indiscretions. She was determined to stand in the way of everything I've ever worked for. I couldn't allow that any more than I will allow Vernon.
But you're talking about cold, premeditated murder. I mean, I'm no saint.
Then do what I ask you. If you can't kill Vernon, get somebody else. But see that it's taken care of tonight.
No, John never mentioned Jeffrey Terrence to me, but then the way things are, we don't talk much when I visit, Mr. Jones. We just touch and hope and pray.
Yes, I can understand that. Mrs. Riley, did your husband ever tell you the full story of Charlotte Sheffield's murder?
I think he knew it wouldn't do him any good.
How so?
After 15 years, a woman knows some things about the man that she's lived with. I mean, John would never have had an affair with that woman.
Since your husband was convicted of killing his wife, doesn't Mr. Sheffield's generosity seem a little strange?
I think, after everything that's happened, Mr. Jones, I'm the last person that you should ask for a judgment like that.
Have you spoken to your husband's doctor lately?
No, I haven't. John asked me not to. He said he didn't want me counting the days.
Well, he might not mind so much now, because according to the doctor, There are going to be a lot more days to count, maybe even years.
But then why didn't John tell me that?
Sometimes good news kind of sticks in the throat when you can't put your arms around the one you want to tell it to.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Okay, baby, just a second.
Be patient, baby, be patient. You're 15 minutes early. When Daddy says 8:30, he means 8:30.
Stacy Vernon?
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, Barnaby, what brought you here? Just dropped by to make a reservation?
Nope. Looks like this motel could be hazardous to your health. What does the coroner make it, Lieutenant?
Suicide. Could be first-day blues. Vernon just got out of the slammer yesterday.
Yeah, I know. He wasn't exactly dressed for walking off a balcony. Any sign of a first-night girlfriend?
Oh, bellhop said she arrived about 45 minutes late. When Vernon didn't answer the door, they figured he got drunk and passed out. Gardner found him this morning.
Drank that much?
Enough, judging from the bottles in his room. You still haven't told me what you're doing here.
Well, your office told me where I'd find you, and then I realized we had an interest in common. My client offered Vernon a lot of money yesterday for a little information.
He didn't take it?
I think he put it out for bids. One thing for sure, he's too smart a con to take himself out this way. If I run onto anything, I'll give you a call.
Barnaby Jones' office. May I help you?
It's me, Betty.
Oh, Barnaby, you caught me halfway out of the elevator. You may owe me a pair of new hose.
I'll buy you 2 pair of new hose if you help me. Stacy Vernon was dead when I got here.
Oh, I was just talking about him a few minutes ago.
Did you get anything?
Maybe. I managed to have lunch with one of the younger members of the Scoville law firm. It took some doing, but he finally told me that Vernon's legal fees were paid by a man named Porter Long.
Porter Long. Am I supposed to know that name?
Porter Long is Lauren Sheffield's right-hand man, and Lauren Sheffield is...
I know who Lawrence Sheffield is. Thanks, Betty. Go out and buy yourself a whole box of new hose.
You shouldn't have spent the money on this.
Lisa told me to tell you that she got the lead in Antigone.
Antigone, with braces on her teeth. That'll be something. How's Greg?
He's fine. He got quarterback on his football team. John, why didn't you tell me
What?
that you're getting well?
Who said that?
Mr. Jones and I talked to your doctors.
Well, you shouldn't have. It won't change anything.
John, it would if you would let it. Mr. Jones says that you're not telling everything you know about Jeffrey Terrence's death.
I don't care what Mr. Jones says.
Well, it all has to do with Charlotte Sheffield's murder, doesn't it?
Stop it, Helen. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
Oh, darling, don't you understand? If there's any time at all a day, A day it belongs to Craig and Elisa and to me. You belong to us, John.
Helen. Helen. Believe me, if there was anything I could do to get out of here, to be with you and the kids, I'd do anything. I'd say anything. I love you, Helen.
Jones is investigating the death of Jeffrey Terrence.
What is it I can do for you, Mr. Jones?
The problem is every lead I get takes me back to Riley. I was hoping you might be able to provide me with some information.
Oh, sure, my personnel department can give you more than I can.
Well, funny, I thought you two were good friends.
Why is that?
Well, I talked to Mrs. Riley, and she told me that you had been continuing to pay Mr. Riley's salary. Now, that seems very generous in light of the situation.
Mr. Jones, my wife was not a very discreet woman. John Riley was not the first man to share a bottle with her, or her affection. Porter, maybe Mr. Jones would like something.
No, thank you. Then you don't blame Mr. Riley?
At first I did. Charlotte was the kind of woman who could drive a man to kill. Any man.
Does that include you, Mr. Sheffield?
Mr. Jones, if I may interrupt, it's company policy to take care of the families of employees.
Was Stacy Vernon an employee?
Vernon?
He was Mr. Riley's cellmate. Mr. Long went to great expense and trouble to get him out.
Porter became interested in his case while visiting Riley. I was glad we could be of help.
Too bad Vernon didn't live to enjoy his freedom. He died last night.
Oh, that's too bad. Mr. Jones, I'm afraid I've let the time slip up on us. Unless you have some more questions?
Well, just one. Were you acquainted with Mr. Terrence?
No, though I confess I was an admirer of his work.
Well, I was hoping you might be able to tell me why someone would steal a tape of his interview with Riley.
No, I'm sorry I can't help you. But I'm sure a man of your resources will find the answer ultimately.
Oh, I will. It's kind of like learning to play the guitar by ear. You just keep plucking all the strings until you find the right notes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Jones, you're wasting your time. I don't really feel up to answering any more questions.
You're looking a lot better to me. Did you hear what happened to Stacy Vernon?
They let us watch television.
Did you know it was Lauren Sheffield that got him out?
What do you want? I'm very grateful to Mr. Sheffield. After what I did, you know the whole story.
All but a part of it. Why would a man like you, in your state of health, go after a woman like Charlotte Sheffield?
Maybe I wanted just one last fling.
That's not much of an answer, especially in view of the hell it put your family through. Your wife doesn't believe it, neither do I.
Well, you're just gonna have to live with it.
Or die with it, like Jeffrey Terrence. He tried to help too, didn't he?
Look, I'm not asking you for help.
But you did ask Terrence. His agent remembers your letter. Riley, I can understand why prison doesn't hold much terror for a man who knows he's dying, especially if a few months behind bars will provide for his wife and children after he's gone.
You finished, Jones?
Not quite. The doctors tell me that those months could be years now. A small lifetime.
Look, I know what I've done.
And why don't you tell me the truth the way I believe you told Terrence?
I'm a dead man. Don't you see that? I learned to live with that a long time ago. Even if the doctors are right, nothing I can say is going to change that. I'm a dead man. Don't you understand that?
Without hope, none of us would be alive.
You missed your calling, Jones. You should write epitaphs.
I'm just dying to make the announcement about you two.
What do you say? Should we let it out?
Let's.
All right. Listen, Bertha, nothing formal. Just a little tidbit or two about how well my relationship with Miss Mason is coming along, okay?
I'll have a scotch, please.
Yeah, to me.
You know, Frank, I just may have an exclusive for your column tomorrow.
What's the matter? One of your pen pals needs some free space?
Jeffrey Terrence never had to beg for space when he was alive.
Oh, I'm sorry. The sad news is that he's yesterday's news now.
Not if that detective I hired, Barnaby Jones, is right. He thinks he's unlocked the mystery surrounding Jeffrey's death.
Meanwhile, he committed suicide?
No. Jones thinks it was murder. Well, it seems Jeffrey had made some notes on the project he was working on, and Jones found them this afternoon. The only problem is, though, they were in Jeffrey's personal shorthand, but Jones says in time he can decipher it. As a matter of fact, he's over at Jeffrey's place working on them right now. He says he should have the answer in just a few hours.
You join?
Yes, but give me some more of that.
Oh, well, we'll talk about it later, Frank. Drink your drink.
How could I know he made notes from that tape?
Well, you'll just have to get in touch with your friend and see they're destroyed, won't you? Have him take care of Jones while you're at it.
Maybe you should reconsider, Lauren. Maybe there's nothing incriminating in the notes.
Do as I tell you, Porter. This time, see that it's final.
Hold it. You are Barnaby Jones.
I don't recall that we were ever introduced, but we might have a mutual acquaintance. Stacy Vernon.
Everybody's got a job to do.
You did a very professional one on him.
Shut up. Back away. I don't understand. There's no writing on here.
On the other paper. You look comfortable down there. Why don't you stay right where you are?
All right, Mark. We'll take them here. Would you mind telling me why you took a chance like that? You knew I had my men closing in.
Well, I was afraid the long arm of the law had developed bursitis, and he didn't look like he was going to wait.
I think I recognize the face. Mr. Trumbull, isn't it? Radio's right.
Never mind that. I don't speak to nobody until I see my lawyer.
Give him his rights, take him downtown and book him. Now, they're all jailhouse lawyers these days. Sorry, Barnaby. It looks like you struck out.
I wouldn't say that. More like a foul tip.
Something's gone wrong. You should have heard something by now.
Relax. Set yourself a man as a professional. If he's as good as you say he is, then he...
Oh, Mr. Jones.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Sheffield.
Well, I really don't know. Just a second, Mr. Jones.
It's all right, Porter. Well, come on in, won't you? Can I get you a glass of brandy?
No, thank you. I'd only planned to stay a few minutes.
What can I do for you?
Well, I thought you might be interested in some of the reading I was doing tonight. It's very enlightening, especially if you want to include that Trumbull fellow you had drop in on me.
Trumbull? Know anyone named Trumbull?
Well, possibly he was a friend of Mr. Long's. The police will decide that.
The police?
Yes, they should be here shortly. I thought it'd be helpful to one of you if we had this little talk first.
What are you driving at?
Well, one of you can get off on a charge of accessory, but I suspect that Mr. Sheffield will choose that option because he has a history of letting his hired help take his punishment for him.
You're fishing, Mr. Jones?
I don't think John Riley would say I'm fishing, not now. I think you ought to have a talk with Mr. Riley and Mr. Long. You might find you have a lot in common. After all, you were the last person standing between Mr. Sheffield and the police. You may have to become the patsy for Mr. Terrence's death.
I didn't kill Terrence.
Well, what about Stacy Vernon? Trumbull didn't do that by himself.
Be quiet, Porter. Mr. Jones, if there are any charges to be filed against Porter, be advised he will have the full weight of Sheffield Enterprises behind him.
That's very impressive. You think you can stay afloat with that load on your back?
No.
Lauren, I'm not going to let you do to me what you did to Riley. It's over. Any deal I make from now on is for myself.
Can't say I'm really disappointed in you, Porter. Your gun, Mr. Jones. Stand over there.
This isn't going to help you any, Mr. Sheffield.
Like Porter, you lack imagination. You came here tonight because an attempt was made on your life by a man hired by Porter Long.
Police will never believe that.
Well, I've never met Trumbull. You hired him. When Jones confronted you with it, you panicked. You tried to kill Mr. Jones, and he was forced to shoot you with this gun. But not before you got off a fatal shot yourself.
You're forgetting about Mr. Riley.
When the police look into Porter's motive, I'm sure Riley could be persuaded to reveal that it was Porter who killed Charlotte. Porter, over against the bar.
All right, wait a minute. Lauren. I'll take the rap. Whatever you want.
Now you're being sensible.
Sheffield! I only miss when I want to. Operator, this is an emergency. Get me the police.